From translation, NIV New International Version. This 34th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Leviticus 8 to 10. Leviticus chapter 8, verses 1 to 36. The Lord said to Moses, "Bring Aaron and his sons, their garments, the anointing oil, the bull for the sin offering, the 2 rams and the basket of bread made without yeast, and gather the entire assembly at the entrance to the tent of meeting." Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and the assembly gathered at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then Moses said to the assembly, "This is what the Lord has commanded to be done." So Moses brought Aaron and his sons forward and washed them with water. He put the tunic on Aaron, tied the sash around him, clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him. He also tied the ephod to him with the woven waistband, and fastened the breastpiece to it. Then he placed the Urim and Thummim in the breastpiece. He placed the turban on Aaron's head, and set the gold plate on the front of the turban, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and everything in it, and so consecrated them. He sprinkled some of the oil on the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all its utensils, and the basin with its stand to consecrate them. He poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him to consecrate him. Then Moses brought Aaron's sons forward, clothed them with tunics, tied sashes around them, and clothed them with the headbands, as the Lord commanded Moses. He brought the bull for the sin offering to Aaron and his sons. Moses first presented the sin offering. He slaughtered it and took the blood, and with his finger put some blood on all the horns of the altar to purify it. He poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. So he consecrated it to make atonement for it. Moses also burned all the fat on the altar, as the Lord commanded him, but the bull with its hide and its flesh and its offal, he burned outside the camp, as the Lord commanded Moses. He then presented the ram for the burnt offering. Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and Moses slaughtered it, and sprinkled the blood against the altar on all sides. He cut the ram into pieces and burned the head, the pieces and the fat. He washed the inner parts and the legs with water, and burned the whole ram on the altar as a burnt offering, a pleasing aroma, an offering made to the Lord by fire, as the Lord commanded Moses. He then presented the second ram, the ram of ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. Moses slaughtered it and took some of the blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the lobes of his sons' right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. Then he brought Aaron's sons forward, and Moses put some of the blood on the lobes of their right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. Moses then sprinkled blood against the altar on all sides. He took the fat tail, all the fat around the inner parts, the covering of the liver, both kidneys and their fat, and the right thigh. From the basket of bread made without yeast that was before the Lord, he took 1 bread, 1 cake made with oil, and 1 wafer, and put them on the fat portions and on the right thigh. He then put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and waved them before the Lord as a wave offering. Moses then took them from their hands, and burned them on the altar on top of the burnt offering as an ordination offering, a pleasing aroma, an offering made to the Lord by fire. Moses also took the breast, waved it as a wave offering before the Lord, and it was Moses' share of the ordination ram, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood from the altar, and sprinkled them on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and their garments. So he consecrated Aaron and his garments, and his sons and their garments. Moses said to Aaron and his sons, "Boil the meat at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of the ordination offerings, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it. Then what is left of the meat and the bread you must burn in the fire. Do not leave the entrance to the tent of meeting for 7 days, until the days of your ordination are completed, for the ordination of the Lord is to last 7 days. What has been done today has been commanded by the Lord to make atonement for you. Stay at the entrance to the tent of meeting day and night for 7 days, and keep the charge of the Lord so that you will not die, for that is what I have been commanded." So Aaron and his sons did everything the Lord commanded through Moses. Leviticus chapter 9, verses 1 to 24. On the 8th day Moses summoned Aaron and his sons, and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, "Take a calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering, both without defect, and present them before the Lord. Then say to the Israelites, Take a male goat for a sin offering, a calf and a lamb, both a year old and without defect, for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for a fellowship offering to sacrifice before the Lord, and a grain offering mixed with oil. For today the Lord will appear to you." They took the things Moses commanded to the front of the tent of meeting, and the entire assembly came near and stood before the Lord. Then Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded you to do, so that the glory of the Lord may appear to you." Moses said to Aaron, "Come to the altar and make your sin offering and your burnt offering and make atonement for yourself and the people. Present the offering that is for the people and make atonement for them, as the Lord has commanded." So Aaron came to the altar and slaughtered the calf as a sin offering for himself. But the sons of Aaron brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger into the blood and put it on the horns of the altar. Then he poured out the blood at the base of the altar. On the altar he burned the fat, the kidneys and the covering of the liver from the sin offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. The flesh and the hide he burned up outside the camp. Then he slaughtered the burnt offering. Aaron's sons brought him the blood, and he sprinkled it against the altar on all sides. They handed him the pieces of the burnt offering and the head, and he burned them on the altar. He washed the inner parts and the legs and burned them on top of the burnt offering on the altar. He then presented the people's offering, and took the goat which was the sin offering for the people, and slaughtered it, and offered it as a sin offering, like the first one. He brought the burnt offering and offered it in the prescribed way. He also brought the grain offering, took a handful of it and burned it on the altar, besides the burnt offering of the morning. He then slaughtered the ox and the ram as the fellowship offering for the people. His sons brought him the blood, and he sprinkled it against the altar on all sides. The fat portions of the ox and the ram, the fat tail, the layer of fat, the kidneys and the covering of the liver they placed on the breasts, and then the fat portions on the right thigh. From the fellowship offerings, they presented the fat portions and the right thigh. This was the ordination offering for Aaron and his sons, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then Aaron lifted his hands toward the people and blessed them. And having sacrificed the sin offering, the burnt offering and the fellowship offering, he stepped down. Moses and Aaron then went into the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people. And the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the presence of the Lord, and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions on the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted for joy and fell prostrate. Leviticus chapter 10, verses 1 to 21. Aaron's sons Nadab and Abihu took their censers, put fire in them and added incense, and they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, contrary to his command. So fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord meant when he said, 'Among those who approach me I will show myself holy. In the sight of all the people I will be honored.'" So Aaron remained silent. Moses summoned Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Aaron's uncle Uzziel, and said to them, "Come here. Carry your cousins outside the camp, away from the front of the sanctuary." So they came and carried them, still in their tunics, outside the camp, as Moses ordered. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons Eleazar and Ithamar, "Do not let your hair become unkempt or tear your clothes, or you will die, and the Lord will be angry with the whole community. But your relatives, all the Israelites, may mourn for those the Lord has destroyed by fire. Do not leave the entrance to the tent of meeting, or you will die, because the Lord's anointing oil is on you." So they did as Moses said. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons are not to drink wine or other fermented drink whenever you go into the tent of meeting, or you will die. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. You must distinguish between the holy and the common, between the unclean and the clean, and you must teach the Israelites all the decrees the Lord has given them through Moses." Moses said to Aaron and his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, "Take the grain offering that is left over from the food offerings presented to the Lord, and make it without yeast near the altar, for it is most holy. Eat it in a holy place, because it is your share of the offerings made to the Lord by fire. For I have given it to you and your sons and daughters, as your regular share from the food offerings presented to the Lord. You are to eat the breast that was waved, and the thigh that was presented as a contribution from the peace offerings, in a ceremonially clean place. You and your sons and daughters may eat it, as the Lord has commanded you. The thigh that was presented and the breast that were waved must be brought with the fat portions of the offerings made by fire, to be waved before the Lord as a wave offering. They will be your permanent share, for you and your children, as the Lord has commanded." When Moses inquired carefully about the goat of the sin offering, he found that it had been burned up. So he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's remaining sons, and asked, "Why didn't you eat the sin offering in the sanctuary area? It is most holy. It was given to you to take away the guilt of the community by making atonement for them before the Lord. Since its blood was not taken into the holy place behind the curtain, you should have eaten the meat in the sanctuary area, as I commanded." Aaron replied to Moses, "Today they sacrificed their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, but such things as this have happened to me. Would the Lord have been pleased if I had eaten the sin offering today?" When Moses heard this, he was satisfied. Then Moses heard what Aaron had said and was satisfied.